Dharmachakra was so fortunate, because in a way, who else told us in history that we had every capability to understand the nature of the world, and that when we did, we would be really relieved to know what its nature was, that we were capable of understanding it? Who told you that? Who else? Anybody tells you that? Nobody at my university does. No way. You go there to learn to join a fraternity, become a rich alumnus and give them money later, which they will spend on hiring more people in administration, and while they lower the faculty salary. And then that's all. They don't tell you that you can understand anything. And if you're a scientist, you can only understand what you don't understand. And the more you research, the more you don't know. And if you're a humanist, you're just there to get good conversation and cocktail parties after you graduate. And if you're a social scientist, well, maybe you'll be able to manipulate people for corporations and work for an advertising company or the government. And that's it. They don't tell you can understand. And they go to the church, the synagogue, they tell you to understand. No. God understands. You just obey. So who in history, and in other cultures it's the same, in East, West, no different. Who tells you can understand the nature of the world? And when you do, you're going to be cheered up. No more furrowed brow. No more freak out. No matter what. Life and death, nothing. Don't freak out. Who told you that? Who else told you that? I want to know. And that's not religious chauvinism. That's appreciated. It's like when people say, Einstein was so brilliant, nobody accuses them of being a religious fanatic. It's appreciation of a scientific achievement. Not a religious thing. He didn't say, I met God and God told me that this is it and you believe it and God will save you. He didn't say that. He said, I met God. God didn't know what was going on. God was freaking out. Really, there's a story like that. You all know that, though. I've told you that a million times. No? You don't know that? You know that. Emily knows that story. Come on, you've been here like many times. You heard me tell that story. When Buddha met Brahma, there's several versions. One where another monk who's an arhat on his way to being a Buddha, but also when Buddha was an arhat as a Bodhisattva, he met Brahma. Brahma is the creator, so Buddha said, "Oh, great Brahma, creator." He went in there by samadhi power in his subtle body into Brahma's heaven. And there was Brahma with all the Brahmalets, the Brahmets. and then Buddha said, "Oh, great Brahma, I heard that you created the world. I'm so pleased to meet you finally. I want to understand the world. How does it work, this world you made?" And what does Brahma say? He said, "Do you have an appointment?" "I'm a very busy Brahma, what are you bugging me? And who let you in here?" type of thing. He gave him the brush off. It didn't answer the question. So then Buddha, "Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry to mean to offend," and he's leaving his subtle body, he's going out. And when he gets outside of that particular heavenly realm, he hears a noise from the side like, "Hey, come here." And there's Brahma outside. Sneaks out. And Brahma says, "Look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to brush off like that, and I wouldn't want to brush off a sincere seeker of truth, especially one who I can tell, since I am God and I'm clairvoyant, that you're going to be Buddha soon. And the truth of the matter is that I didn't create the world, and I don't know how it works, and I hope you find out. But I couldn't tell you that, because what happened was when the universe came out of the last Big Bang, this cycle of this universe came out of the last Big Bang, I was the first being here. And I was like, where am I? What am I doing here? Like Admiral Stockwell. Or Stillwell, whatever his name was. Where am I? What am I doing here? And then suddenly, pop, 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 all these other godlets, the Brahmets, were all there. The Brahmlings and the Brahmets, they were all around. They saw me and they went, "Dada!" So first I said, "I'm not your Dada, don't bother me, what's going on, And then they looked completely freaked out. So I said, "Okay, I'm Dada, everything is fine. Don't worry, it's all under control. Like Admiral Hay, remember, I'm in control here." And so then they calmed down. So if I had said to you, when you asked me, "Oh, I don't know, I didn't make it. I'm just like a big shot here, but I don't know what's going on." they would have all had identity crisis. We would have had to have therapy in heaven. So, but that's the truth. So I know you're going to understand, and I want you to do two things for me when you understand. First, come and tell me how it works, because I'd like to know. I know I'm God now, Brahma, but I also know that even I am impermanent, and that I will fall back down, and then I'll be ignorant, and I'll do terrible things, and so on. And I don't want to suffer again in other realms, and I want to find it. I want to be enlightened myself. So tell me how it works. And second, tell living beings that when everything goes really horribly wrong for them, when they lose a child, when they lose a loved one, when they cut their knee, it's not my fault. I'm not in control. I do my best. I'm a powerful Brahma, and Brahma is powerful, incredible. Brahma, and then later, he's all throughout the Hinayana Buddhist literature too, the Pali text. He constantly shows up. When Buddha teaches in heaven, in the 33 heaven of Indra, at the Olympus, he goes there because his mom went there. So he goes to teach his mom. He teaches her the Abhidharma. Poor woman.
Psychology.
Poor woman.
Yeah, the most boring.
Anyway, he goes to teach her the Abhidharma. And when he goes, the Indra godlings in Olympus, that's like the Greek pantheon type of Indian god. Then Indra is the king of them. And they're all messing around and fooling around, and they want to go play golf or whatever. They don't want to listen. So then Brahma comes down from the higher heaven, from his form realm heaven, and he whips them, like, okay, sit down, listen to Buddha now. He like really whips them into shape. He's like the Osho in the Zen center. He really is. And he comes to the earth too, and he arranges people. He's like definitely becomes Buddha's manager in the Pali literature, not just Mahayana literature. And then, of course, in the Mahayana literature, there's many Brahmas, many creator gods, because there are many simultaneous universes in many different dimensions. This is not the only universe. The whole idea that there's one universe is ridiculous. Infinity is not one. Infinity is infinity. And it has no numbering. Your number won't reach it. So there's many universes. When we're in the big crunch, this universe, let's say, and then another one is in Big Bang, another one is in full thing, and another one is in the period between crunch and bang, which is called pralaya, dissolution state. So the cosmology is incredibly rich and amazing, actually. The 10 dimensions of the quantum people are just catching up. But anyway, I'm sorry, I don't want to rant and rave, although I don't mind. But it's not fair. And furthermore, it's not wise. But I just want to celebrate Dharmachakra Day, and I want to point out the fact that this is a genuine encouragement to your intelligence. So don't pretend you don't have one. And realize that your feeling is, I can't understand, I don't really get it, I've heard many times, but I don't get it. Someone told you when you were little probably, you didn't understand anything. Many different kinds of people, priests, doctors, teachers, parents, elder siblings, you don't know what's going on. That you heard a lot of it, and so isn't that Mr. Superego?
Could be.
Hops in there and tells you can't understand. And that's not true. Everybody understands everything.